Hello and welcome to the Mill Creek View CEO Special with me, your host, Steve Abramowitz, where I interview the best business people and entrepreneurs. Hello and welcome back to the Mill Creek View CEO Special with your host, Steve Abramowitz. We are focused on the best businesses doing good business in America. Today we are with Dr. Dionne Kellogg in studio. But first, for more information about the CEO Special or the Mill Creek View stable of podcasts, visit us anywhere you get your podcasts or videos at Mill Creek View. While you're there, please subscribe so you don't miss a single episode of this amazing content and pass it on. And thanks for doing it. Dr. Dionne Kellogg, Doctor of Chiropractic, Logan College of Chiropractic. Dr. Dionne Kellogg graduated from Logan College of Chiropractic in Chesterfield, Missouri. She also holds a bachelor's degree in biological sciences from Eastern Illinois University. She holds certifications in nutrition, level 2 spinal correction, active release technique, module 1, metabolics, nutrition testing, and therapeutic supplementation. She also provides dry needle therapy. Dr. Kellogg is a wellness chiropractor who specializes in spinal, biomechanics, nutrition, health at a cellular level. She treats patients of all ages, students, and elite athletes. She is a partner doctor for NFL Alumni Association and Sports Performance Council member, providing care and programs for USA Wrestling and Judo athletes. Dr. Kellogg, how are you today?
Hello. Thank you so much for having me on the show. I really appreciate it. And that was a mouthful.
My pleasure. Yes. Well, you are distinguished. And full disclosure, I am a patient of Dr. Kellogg, and she advertises on our show sometimes. So welcome again to our studio. Tell us about your background and how young little Dionne decided to become a chiropractor.
Right. Well, most of my life, the main thing is always what God had planned for my life. So with ministry, I wanted to help people. I wanted to make a difference in people's lives. So I was on the path to become a medical doctor actually at one point, because my naive self was told that that was the only kind of doctor that mattered, right? But God had a lot of other thoughts for me. So he actually brought me on this path, and everything was amazing. And it brought me to the point where I can actually help people and put patient health first instead of just treating symptoms with drugs and surgery, which is not the way that you actually get well.
That's fantastic.
So I would have been miserable, unfortunately, had I followed my plan. So I'm so glad that God intervened, and I found chiropractic as the real health doctors. And some people may not understand that, but truly we unlock the potential health of the body that's already there just by removing interference so that you heal and function the way you were supposed to.
That's fantastic. And that's a blessing that is exactly how you got to your path. It was divine as opposed to just something to make money, let's say.
Right.
This is a business show. So tell us, aside from the fact that we all have spines, what is it that drew you specifically to that area of the body as your specialty?
For sure. Well, that's where all of the control of health and function comes from. So your brain and spinal cord are completely housed in bone, which is your skull and your spine. So when we deal with the spine, we're actually impacting the way that your nervous system expresses itself so that at a cellular level, you can stay healthy and function properly. So really, it's getting back to the core of who you are and how you were designed instead of just chasing symptoms. So we deal with cause over condition to find the root problem, fix that, and then to actually see people get better instead of just managing a disease. That's really, truly what drew me to this profession.
And it really is the pathway, the neuro pathway for our wiring so that all the functions that go along with it, not just standing erect or sitting in a chair correctly. Tell us about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, think about this. We have a maintenance mindset or a prevention mindset in a lot of things. Take your car, for example. You don't just wait until you blow out a tire to switch them or rotate them. You know that, hey, I need to take care of this, or hey, I need to check the oil, or I need to put gas in the car, because the car doesn't go anywhere if you don't maintain it. Also with dental, with skin, we have regimens to prevent aging and things like that. But your spine, you use every single day, even when you're sleeping. And most people don't even think that it needs to be maintained, which is untrue. The posture actually puts your body in a position that is most comfortable to you at the moment, but not necessarily a functioning position. So your biomechanics begin to get off, your posture begins to lose the curves that you're supposed to have, and then that actually stresses and pinches your nervous system, can create actual neural tension that causes disease processes to start in your body. So just by maintaining the spine, we eliminate a lot of that interference so that your body can express itself properly.
Right. And so obviously the NFL, having alumni there or Olympic teams, they're putting a lot of stress on that spine, especially from their youth to their older age and then retirement. Tell us some examples of that.
Well, of course, any kind of athlete, whether it's a high school athlete all the way up to elite sports, you are putting abnormal stresses on your spine. And a lot of times in a one-sided type situation. So take throwing sports, for example. A lot of times younger athletes are blowing out their shoulders, they're blowing out their elbows and the wrist, things like that, or their hips, because their biomechanics are not sound before they start the fundamentals of their sports, right? So it's creating wear and tear and tension. Now you look at football within the NFL and all the way down, there's a lot of abuse that they're putting on their body. I watch football just to see what did they do to their spine today, and you can see them flying through the air and getting tackled twice and flipping over and landing. And yeah, thank God they get up a lot of times. But they also know that it's very important to take care of their spine. So most NFL teams do have a chiropractor on staff. I actually work with the NFL Alumni. And that was something that I didn't think would ever be a situation. It just kind of happened organically with the president of the Tennessee chapter. And really, when I looked at it, in the NFL, you have a training room where you have access to everything you need right away to take care of a problem. But after you retire, there's no support really from a standpoint of what you need and really other than just covering up problems. So I was able to come and step in and start educating and helping to take care of the guys that we can to really help them to stay healthy and well after their sport.
And you have an event coming up soon?
Yes, actually. We've got a golf tournament, so I'll be there adjusting everybody before the game, the matches and everything. But then I'll also be on the team playing in the tournament. So the NFL Alumni works with the charity Caring for Kids. So we're raising money with sponsorships to really make a difference in kids' lives and really increase youth sports as well. That's
great. And obviously their entire lives are lower center of gravity, using your feet, making sure that spine is strong enough to resist the 50 mile an hour person coming at them and whatnot. But then they switch to, say, golf. Biomechanics, very different. Totally different. So how do they make that adjustment?
Well, just like any of us do, whether it's that we sit at a desk all the time and then we go out and try to swing a golf club, it's kind of the same concept, right? So really it's about stretching, conditioning, and really to getting adjusted to take care of a lot of those stresses. So getting adjusted pre and post a match is pretty great.
And some of the rehabilitation stories that I've heard out of your office have been quite amazing. Does anything jump out to you that you'd want to mention?
Oh, I would love to. So I also work with veterans. And so I have a veteran that's been with me for a couple months. He's seeing immense changes. Well, actually probably about 6 months now. When he walked in, he couldn't stand up straight. He was a former marathon runner. More than I could ever imagine. And he couldn't hardly walk to his mailbox. He had tremendous amount of pain, and his life was just really just about pain, not function. And now he's doing so well. He can dance little jigs. He can walk. He's now going to be in the Veterans Day Parade, marching for the first time and leading that. And he's so thrilled. He's losing weight. His posture's changed. His spine and his x-rays are showing massive amount of improvement. So his organs are functioning better and he is getting his life back.
And that is amazing and a blessing again. And the point of that is obviously the dentists and chiropractors, I think, have a bad reputation out there where most people are probably more afraid to see one than to do it for their own health. Your process is a lot different than that. Where you are, you say you believe that being a chiropractor is more than someone who just helps people feel healthy through high quality chiropractic and corrective care, combined with the 5 essentials. We're here to empower patients with both knowledge and healing. Trust that your health is in expert hands. So I want to talk about the 5 essentials. But first, let me tell you, how did you come across the 5 essentials? How have you implemented those 5 essentials? And why are those the 5 things that are most important?
Yes, of course. Well, the 5 essentials are actually a way of patient care and management that is not a design from any group organization themselves, but really it's the principles about how the body is made in the beginning. So with the Maximize Living 5 essential approach that my office does align with, we deal with mindset, which is basically teaching you how to view and manage your health in a different way. So not waiting until you're sick and having a victim mentality, but really truly owning that your health is your responsibility and it's also your fault, whether it's good or bad. Right? Because if you do things, let's say eat sugar forever, you're going to have inflammation. You're going to start creating diabetes, heart disease, cancers in the body, things like that. And really, it's about the choice that started the genetic process in order to express those genes. So mindset is huge. Also, core chiropractic. If your body's not functioning well, it's not going to work for you. And you'll start to develop disease issues over time just from the neural stresses that happen. Right.
And the simple diagnosis is usually medication or surgery.
Yes.
And if I'm not mistaken, you try to avoid that as a last resort.
Yes, absolutely. So in a lot of things in life, we find that things are really upside down. And I think that's where the healthcare mindset that we have right now is frustrating to doctors, nurses, patients, everybody, because it does wait until people get sick and then it covers that up a lot of times, or it treats symptoms, but then you have patients that are long-term just managing a disease versus reversing, right? So with the other lifestyle essentials that we have, changing your nutrition, getting quality supplements into your body, doing nutritional testing, that's the Metabloix programs, so that we can see exactly where you're deficient and then also how your body is functioning or not from a cellular level. We can begin to repair those pathways so then your body expresses itself. Detoxing, removing toxicities in the body, and then also fitness. We got to get up and move. Oxygen kills cancer cells, guys. It's just a real thing, you know? So if we have good cellular health, then our bodies are going to function. But remember, that comes from the nervous system first. So we want our brain to be able to talk to the body at its full optimal health potential every day.
And that's the key. I think people don't understand their spine's use is, so you say your spine is your body's central information highway. When your spine is properly aligned, it aids in maximizing nerve supply, which supports your whole body, including your immune system, your circulatory system, and your nervous system. 3 things that they like to treat with pharmaceuticals.
Sure.
This is why chiropractic care is so important and healthy components of health and wellness at New Life Chiropractic. So let's see. One of the components is nutrition. Proper nutrition and supplementation can nourish your body, help you maintain your ideal weight, and improve your muscle to fat ratio. Your Brentwood chiropractor offers nutritional assessments and counseling and help you to plan a strategy to improve your diet to your well-being. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not what you would think from a chiropractor talking about nutrition, but tell us.
Right. Well, a chiropractor is interested in the whole body. So it's not just holistic, but it's a vitalistic approach. So wherever there's interference, that's where we need to help a patient. So if your interference is that you have poor quality nutrients going into your body, then I can adjust you, and that's awesome to help your body work better, but we still aren't getting the nutrients in there. So by looking at a nutrition consult, we usually do a 7-day food journal just to see what you're actually doing, because most people don't realize how they're actually eating, and understand that your diet is actually how you're eating at any time. So we're always on a diet. It's not this thing of you go on and off a diet. You're either on a good diet or you're on a bad diet, right? So we try to help you to have an understanding of food so that you know this is a good choice. We're putting good quality food in. This is a choice that isn't good for me, so let's try to replace that.
Good habits over bad habits.
Absolutely.
And so obviously your athletes are very familiar with this, but most of everyday person isn't. Oxygen and exercise. Developing the habit of exercise will help your body to increase its oxygen levels, which can improve your ability to fight infection and your energy levels. So how does spine alignment help you increase your oxygen to your lungs, and where does the energy part come in?
Yeah, absolutely. It's interesting. We know that we impact the lungs through spinal adjustments. But when you actually look at some of the reasons online, you can get a lot of misinformation, obviously, too. But you look at that, asthma is one of the things that we see time and time again improving with alignment of the neck and the upper back and mid back area. So thinking about this, if you have a misalignment that's keeping your ribs from being able to fully expand, you don't get as much oxygen in, right? So with an athlete, if they have a twist in their spine or their shoulders aren't working very good, they're operating on a depleted tank from the beginning. So when you get adjusted and open that up so you can take that full breath and teach you how to pull in the right kind of oxygen, now you have better sports performance and recovery and endurance. So that's from an athletic standpoint. From just a you and I standpoint, and even all the way down to asthma, you can reduce medications with someone if their bodies are able to fully function. So that's pretty great. People that sit at a desk, when you sit down, you actually can keep your chest from expanding properly, and you don't get a full breath. So we're all oxygen depleted when we're not only aligned properly, but have bad and poor posture, actually.
And that's the pathway to the brain with the blood and the circulation, and people who have gout or people who have even sciatica, that this could be a solution.
Yeah. So thinking about diseases, any diagnosis is just a set of symptoms, okay? Whether it's gout, set of symptoms, heart disease, set of symptoms, diabetes, same thing. So when we look at cause over condition, we don't hone in on I'm treating this symptom. It's understanding that the body is doing exactly what it's supposed to do in the right space at the right time. And the set of symptoms is its way of trying to protect and preserve and survive. So when we understand that, then we go, okay, body, what are you trying to do? Brain, what can't you hear? What do we have to start removing on the interference side of it? And then once that happens, you find root causes, and then again, fix a root cause, problem goes away, and the symptom isn't there anymore, right? Because the body doesn't need to express itself that way anymore.
Yeah. Well, that was one of the interesting things I discovered personally is that when I had an injury, it wasn't the actual spot I felt the pain in. It was actually the lower back that needed to have an adjustment, which came with hydration. Would have never thought. I just said, oh, my knee hurts or my calves hurt. Okay. So minimizing toxins. We all have to suffer with this. Sometimes we don't even know we're taking them in. Minimizing exposure and clearing the toxins from your body resets your body's natural balance and allows it to function at its fullest potential. This starts with guidance on the lifestyle choices needed to reduce the toxins entering your systems. In your day-to-day business, what are some of the main toxins you're seeing people needing to get away from?
Okay. Actually, we talk a lot about medicine, but that is the number one toxic thing that Tennesseans are encountering every day. It is even to a point where in our water systems, there's a lot of medications that they're trying to filter out and everything. So please, anybody, do not flush it down the toilet or anything like that if you're done with the bottle. So things like that we've got to watch. So the reduction of medicine, basically helping the body heal so you can get off of that completely, is awesome. The other side of it is a lot of cleaning products and makeups, things like that. Beauty Counter is a great makeup that is less toxic. There's a lot of online things that you can look at different products to make sure that you're putting the least amount of toxins onto your skin as possible too. Working with essential oils versus the over-the-counter lotions and creams and things like that can be helpful. So just really taking and looking at what you're using and finding a cleaner option is how we minimize that. Helping the air be cleaner, using less toxic paint, all kinds of things like that.
Excellent. Okay. And the fifth element, not like the movie, which would be love, but close, is mindset.
Right.
Your Brentwood and Tennessee chiropractors can help you to develop a proper mindset that will ultimately influence your success. Problems like trauma, stress, and poor sleep habits can have a direct impact on your health. We take the time to understand your challenges and can create a plan that works to improve healthy brain function and emotional wellness. Tell us about some change of minds that you've been able to have. And the main question I want to ask at the end of that is, how do you do it different than the folks coming out of med school that go right into chiropractic? Because you are a unique shop incorporating those 5 elements.
Sure. Yeah. Well, we have a re-education program for our patients. So when you come in with a certain mindset from what you've heard about chiropractic, what you've experienced, what you maybe have experienced somebody else having an experience. And then also there is a trust of what you know. So if someone has the mindset of, I'm going to take a drug instead of fixing my headaches with chiropractic, then we have to get on the same page first. So we deal with finding that middle ground of what the knowledge and understanding is about how the body actually works, and then helping you to be able to shed the things that aren't really helpful, right? So a lot of my migraine patients, they'll come in on 4 or 5 different medications, and then we say, we're not changing those at all, but as you don't need them, talk to your doctor about reducing them. And then when they get adjusted, the migraines go away, and then they're able to get rid of that. But that starts with mindset, that they can trust the body. The way that it was made was perfect, and we are not victims of our health. We actually design how healthy we're going to be by our choices. I love, there was a quote on YouTube somewhere. I can't tell you who it was, but you have to go find it.
Probably my show.
It probably was. I'm sure it was. But this woman, she said something amazing. She said, when you're born, you look like your parents, but when you die, you look like your choices.
Oh, wow.
And that just gives me chills because it's so true. You're completely healthy when you're born, and what we pump into the body and put around it, because we just don't know. Our mindset is just what everybody else thinks about it, is that will either bring health or it'll bring non-health. So we have to really look at our choices and understand that mindset has to be there of, I'm going to honor my body, as the Bible says, to the glory of God, do everything to the glory of God. And we're all human. I'm not perfect. I will never say I'm perfect, but it's about every day being better.
Yeah, we all have spines, and they were designed for a function.
Exactly.
That is exactly right. And so you offer other services like dry needling, which is an effective treatment for muscular pain and trigger points. People may think in their minds immediately acupuncture, but I don't think that's what it is. A very thin needle is placed into the muscle, creating a muscle contraction that releases the muscular tension or trigger points. Tell us about that. Dry hydrotherapy.
Yes. So with the dry needling, it's something that I added to my practice because I was finding when we're doing corrective care, we're creating space for the spine to move in the right place and stay that way. We do a whole rehab program around it too. When you have a chronically tight muscle or a spasmed muscle, sometimes it won't release properly. So massage therapy can help, fascia release and stretching can help. But when you introduce the needle into that fascia, which is just a couple millimeters under the skin, you barely even feel that. It actually triggers the brain to start that healing and release that fascia and those muscles. So it's kind of like getting an hour massage in 10 minutes. So it's pretty awesome. And for those of you that don't like the word needle, it's dry pinching as well. So,
that's good.
Yes. And then with the hydrotherapy, it's a heated water massage bed. Right. So our patients can come in. It's kind of like our spa room. And really with COVID, everybody was afraid to touch everybody, and so a lot of people weren't able to go to their massage therapist because they'd been closed down and all that. So we purchased the table and we said, look, come on in, de-stress. It's $1 a minute. Just lay down and, let the heat and the massage help you. That helps to decrease your stress and helps you get adjusted better too. So.
Okay. Well, not only as the doctor, but as the CEO of your company and your clinic, well, maybe that's the wrong word, but let's just say if a young Dionne had come up to you and said, hey, what should I do as a profession? Should I go into being a chiropractor like you? What would you say to her?
Absolutely. So in this world, there's a tipping point where people want true health care. And so we need as many good chiropractors as we can to help manage people's bodies so that they're not creating issues and problems later on. So absolutely. Now, as the owner and CEO and doctor, that's a hard path. So make sure that you understand you're going to earn it. You are not entitled to anything. If you have an entitled mindset, you're either going to learn the hard way or you should work for somebody else that's the CEO and the owner. But yes, it's such a rewarding path to be on. And I actually do mentor young doctors as well. So if anybody wants to reach out to me, I'd be more than happy to invite them to the clinic and make sure that they see the difference with what we do.
Well, in our last few minutes here together, tell everyone, I know you hold classes and you do consultations. So tell everybody how they can find you, get more information about you and how you do it. And of course, what you're teaching them in those classes are non-adjustment related.
For sure. Absolutely. So you can look on our website at Dr. Kellogg, DrKellogg, .maxliving.com. And then you can actually request an appointment, a consultation to come in, fill out paperwork and sit down with me and see what's going on with your body and where we want to start. You can also email the front desk at, it's actually front desk at newlifecoolsprings.com or call 615-221-8033. Those are a lot of ways that you can reach us.
Yeah. And one of the things that I found enjoyable is that I was able to go in and get my x-rays done right there, not have to go out to another place and see the results, and which are on my phone. And I knew, here's what you're working towards because this is what's wrong. And if you move these degrees, you will feel better. You'll have more energy. You'll sit up right when you're doing your show. And and we'll be friends. So thank you so much for coming on with us today.
Absolutely. Thank you for this opportunity. I appreciate you.
Our pleasure. Welcome to my book of the day. Louis W. Pauly is a graduate of Cornell University, the London School of Economics, New York University, and Fordham University. He has held management positions in the Royal Bank of Canada and served on the staff of the International Monetary Fund. He is a former editor of the journal International Organization, director of the Center for International Studies, and interim director of the Center for the Study of Global Japan in the Munk School of Global Affairs and Public Policy. He is a fellow of the Royal Society of Canada. His book, Who Elected the Bankers? Surveillance and Control in the World Economy, September 2, 1998. A former banker and staff member of the International Monetary Fund, Louis W. Pauly explains why people are deeply concerned about the emergence of a global economy and the increasingly integrated capital markets at its heart. In nations as diverse as France, Canada, Russia, and Mexico, the lives of citizens are disrupted when national policies fall out of line with the expectations of international financiers. Such dilemmas, ever more conspicuous around the world, arise from the disjuncture between a rapidly changing international economic system and a political order still constituted by sovereign states. The evolution of global capital markets inspired an understandable fear among people that the governing authorities accountable to them are losing the power to make substantive decisions affecting their own material prospects and those of their children. Pauly points out that today's capital markets resulted from decisions taken over many years by sovereign states. Remember, this is 30 years ago. And particularly by the leading industrial democracies who simultaneously crafted the instrument of multilateral economic surveillance. The effort to build adequate political functions and foundations for global capital markets spans the 20th century and links the histories of such institutions as the League of Nations, the International Monetary Fund, the European Union, and the Group of Seven. Check it out. I think you'll like it.